Welcome to the studio, and we are here with Mr. Holloway, and we are discussing the study skills for the student, which I think is very, very important. Listening and reading we have already discussed, and now let's talk about writing.
Sure.
Are you a fan of writing?
Yeah, I mean, writing is a very nice way to present your ideas. Generally, people prefer to do writing than speaking, just again because you can plan out your ideas before you present them. Speaking is a lot more improvisation and kind of thinking in the moment. So I think writing is a very important skill to have.
It's output skills, and it's where we can, unleash our creativity.
Yeah, exactly. You have a lot more control as well. When you're listening to a lecture, you don't get to choose what you listen to.
That's right.
But when you write an essay, you get to choose what you write. So I think students tend to enjoy that aspect of it as well.
So the writing in college, I think, is really difficult, and we have so many types of writings. So let's talk about the variations of writings in college. How many types are there, and do you think?
Yeah. Well, the most difficult part is that there are different types, but they're all actually very similar to each other. And that you tend to get asked to do the same thing. So like write 1,000 words or write 2,000 words. But you might get asked to do argumentative or discussion essays. You might get asked to do research essays or case studies. You might be asked to do primary research or secondary research. So all of these types of writing, they're asking you to do a specific thing. So for example, an argumentative essay, they want to hear your opinions. So they want to hear, what do you think about the topic at the end? Whereas a discussion essay is more objective. It's supposed to be just displaying both ideas and then having a conclusion which kind of sums up everything you've talked about. So if you do an argumentative essay, when you're asked to do a discussion essay, that's where a lot of students might slip up. So very, very important to understand what type of essay am I being asked to write here. And again, if you're unsure, make sure you ask your teacher, ask your lecturer, because they're the ones that know best what you should be writing.
You are bringing back so many memories for me when I was in college, and it seems sometimes overwhelming for a lot of students because it's not easy. So how can students improve their writing skills at college?
Yeah, it all comes in the planning, understanding how to properly plan an essay. A lot of students, they really focus on, okay, I have to write this essay, so I need to be generating the best ideas I can straight away. Actually, the way I teach my students is a technique called emptying your brain, which basically means that you have the topic and you just write any idea that comes into your head onto a piece of paper, so that your brain isn't trying to convince you to use that idea. Once you write it down, your brain kind of forgets it and tries to generate a new idea. And then once you have all of these ideas, you can then decide, okay, I'll cut out the bad ones and I'll just write about these really strong ideas and choose those ideas to write about. A lot of students, they get stuck and they get kind of brain freeze because they're trying to think, okay, is that idea good enough to write about or not? In the planning stage, don't care about that because no one's going to see your plan. They're only going to see the final product. So just write it down on a piece of paper so it's not affecting your brain, and do that for like 5 to 10 minutes and then choose the ideas that you think you can write the best about as well, which is important in that students need to think, okay, I know I can write a lot about this idea, so I'm going to choose that one. Don't choose what you think is the best for the teacher, choose what's best for you.
Nice. And this technique, I have to say, is old but gold. It's just so effective for every generations of students. Just write out as much as possible and then connecting the dots, and then you have your final products. Yeah, that's amazing. And also in the writing, we also have the referencing, which is very important. In Vietnam, the referencing styles are varied, and the students have to pick one, for instance, for their essays. So can you talk more about this referencing styles and how we can make the most out of it?
Yeah, again, I think it's important to understand what the purpose of referencing is as well, as to why we have the certain styles. We have styles, they have names, so we have Harvard, we have APA, we have MLA, which they all are basically doing the same thing though, just written in a different way. So we are referencing our information to prove that other people believe in our ideas. It's very easy as a single person to say this is true. But when people say, well, prove it to me, that's why we have to go to other experts and say, well, these experts said it's true as well. So the referencing basically shows the reader that the person has done the research and they've found people that agree with their ideas. And then we have the citations that are in the text, which are supposed to lead people to the referencing. It's very, very important with referencing, especially in international universities, because if you don't reference, then you might encounter something like plagiarism, which has very kind of strict consequences. There are also tools that help online as well. There's many different tools you can use that help you kind of get the right structure of referencing. And if you use these tools, then they'll tell you, okay, which style are you choosing? Are you choosing Harvard or APA? The correct style is down to the school that you study at. So at the BUV, we use the Harvard referencing style. Other schools, they may use a different style. So double check with them, make sure you're using the right one.
I assume that BUV teachers are very strict when it comes to writing.
Yeah, we are, but we're strict for a reason though, because we're trying to prepare our students, again, for the real life. So they're not going to take it easy on you out there. So we try and be even stricter at university. Also because it's a great place to spot where your mistakes are. When you're in a position and an environment where you have that support around you, that's the best time to learn. You don't want to be learning about this stuff when you finish university. So we're quite strict, on the writing, and quite often people will have to do their writing again if it hasn't reached the appropriate grade. So.